As one of the first African supermodels who is often complimented for helping to change perceptions of beauty in the fashion industry, Alek Wek was the first African model to appear on the cover of Elle magazine. She has walked the runway for Christian Dior and many more of the world's top designers. She has a unique resume. She's a former Sudanese refugee turned designer, supermodel and activist. She's used fashion as a platform to serve as an advisory board member to the US Committee for Refugees and Immigrants in efforts to raise awareness of the current state of refugees worldwide. In 2013, she was appointed a Goodwill Ambassador for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. A year later, she became an official ambassador for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Then she became an official ambassador for the H&M Conscious Fund. She is currently the face of a campaign that focuses on social, environmental sustainability initiatives in the fashion supply chain and communities around the world.
Your story is a very fascinating one. You've accomplished so much in life. But I mean, when you were back in South Sudan with all the chaos and the gloom, around you, what were your aspirations in life? Or was it just a case of surviving, just being able to see a new day?
Wow. To try and answer your question to the best of my ability, I would say, going through the Civil War as a young person was very difficult, especially seeing my father going through the illness that he was going through at the time before he passed away, was very hard. And I never want to see another young person go through it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm very active with UNHCR, UN High Commission for Refugees, because they were the first ones that were there when everybody else were running away. The whole town was burnt down, and I vowed to be active with them because they're the ones that are there for first aid, basic necessity, which any human being needs, which is food, shelter, water. And on that note, survival, dude, that's the most important when you're going through that situation. And that's one of the reasons why I don't even have to think about it. I feel that we all have a platform that we should be able to utilize to shed at least light on important issues such as safety for another fellow human being. And in my case, witnessing firsthand, it was very important to talk about this even before there was even social media, in the mid-90s, talking with the New York Times and so forth, and saying about the Civil War, the toll is taking on the people. So on that note, I feel very fortunate and blessed, but also I feel that collectively as people, you don't have to just be a supermodel, or you don't have to just be a big celebrity. We all can make a difference. We all can utilize our platform. And that's why it's brilliant what you're doing at the moment. And me being, even though I can't be in South Africa, but we can utilize, the computer at its best, to connect us and to shed messages on what's important and what can be done. But I truly believe that we all have a platform that we can make a difference. You don't have to just be a celebrity, but our platforms can be very powerful in that manner.
You were featured in Forbes, in an article on Forbes, where the title was "The Beauty That Tumbled from War." Tell me about your journey from South Sudan to Britain, and how you stumbled into modeling. Did you ever think that you'd get past those hardships and challenges?
I always say, the industry that I ended up being in as a model, even for a young girl from a small town, whether it's in South Africa or London or New York or Paris or Milan, it's still very, very foreign. And it's very nerve-wracking because there is no manual to it. You have to figure it out as you go along. But I've always had this grounding, fundamental of once you understand and you're comfortable in your own shoes, once I realized that I can be Alek and I can do this job, that was it for me. If I had to pretend or be something else that I'm not, I don't think I would have been able to persevere or at least have such a longevity of a career where I've evolved throughout the years. And it's very humbling, to be honest, because I've never foreseen that. Yeah. So I would say, even to any girl, not just being model, but just having a solid career, I think that you have to be able to face yourself and look at yourself in the mirror and say, is this who I am? Is this what I want to do? Is this making me happy? Do I have a good community that, can mirror back what I'm mirroring? I think that's very important for the younger generation. And I was very blessed, even though I've had the hardship of going through civil war, but I've learned so much, and it has given me, lack of better words, I mean, the resilience is unbelievable. So for me, it was really the hope to be able to utilize the platform, the hope to be able to say to another younger generation that you can be yourself and nothing less and nothing more, and you can persevere and you can help others, because after all, I really truly feel that we are messengers.
Alek, you talk about the fact that you've been well grounded, that you didn't have to pretend to be anybody else. But now you're in Britain, coming from South Sudan, and you look different from everybody else. You are different. You have a different background. You look different. Where do you think your confidence comes from?
I think it comes from just being one of nine, being one of five girls. It's like, I don't know anything else but to celebrate other sisters. I don't know anything else but to embrace each other. And I think that's where it comes from. And that's why I give so much thanks to my Dinka heritage. In a way, they set the ground, they set the fundamental, where I didn't have to question the simple and the basic. And yes, it was very difficult arriving in London. First of all, I had a little skirt, a little tank top, and I was like, this is like a refrigerator. And no kidding. It was really cold. So I had to get used to that. But I will have to say, having art in my life, that really helped me very much. That's something that I never thought that I would be able to actually major in. And that's how the whole fashion started as well, going to school for art and history and meeting wonderful friends that took me to that park that weekend for a scout to be able to walk up to me and say, Alek Wek, have you ever thought of being, a model? And I was just like, don't be daft. But again, being around a community that celebrated my art, I love fashion, music, art. I paint. I still paint until today. I'm collaborating now with other companies. I can't really elaborate on that, just simply because of the agreement that I had done, and I like to respect each individual and so forth. But I would have to say that arts really nurtured who Alek is. And if one of the things that I would say that would be amazing to instill in so many younger generation, because it helps them excel in so many different areas, whether it's math, science, architecture, engineering, whatever, teaching. I think that the arts really help, lack of better words, not just being able to feel comfortable in your own shoes. And I think those early tender teenage years are very important. And art really helps to you excel in different areas, and self-confidence as well. Yeah, because it's very easy to say those words, but to put it in practice, that's where the art really plays its part at its best.
I just want to touch onto the subject of the power of representation. I mean, you've broken barriers, changing perceptions of beauty. You were the first African model to appear on the cover of Elle in 1997. And I was just having a conversation with someone the other day of why he was asking why we need to celebrate every time an African woman accomplishes something. First black woman to do this, first black woman to do that. And I just want to touch on, your thoughts on the power of, representation and, just celebrating those milestones and those accomplishments.
I think that is very important when we're talking in terms of the arts. The arts is a place where you should really celebrate colors, like, over all across the board. And the fact that we haven't done that before, for me, I was just being myself. And the fact that it was such a big thing, it even encouraged me more to even want to be more accomplished and want to even break those boundaries. But for me, it wasn't enough. It's beautiful to now see all these young girls on the runways, on the advertisings, on the, whichever platform. It just gives me joy, whether it's Academy Awards, whatever that is, because the arts is where we shine as women. And if we can't be able to reflect on that, what else can there be? So, lack of better words, I think that the arts and fashion and entertainment in general should be a platform to let all shine. I'm talking about, like, colors across the board. So lack of better words, but that's why I think that it's fantastic that we're having this conversation now, and it won't be equal until, like I always say before, until you walk through the airport and you see all those covers, you have to see at least 50%. That's not just, black, but also, not just white, but 50% at least you're representing women in general. So until that takes place, I think that we're doing a disservice in the entertainment or fashion business. So I vowed to do so. And I'm just, every time I see other girls, from the diaspora, it gives me joy because, like they'll say, I have 4 sisters. We're not all alike, even though we resemble each other, we're completely different. So I can't imagine, somebody saying like, there has to be one. It's like, I'm not a bloody token. So it's really, it's slow, but surely, changes are happening. But I think that we need to be able to be proactive in order for that, for changes to come by. So if it takes for me to be able to, go out there and do what I've got to do, I think collectively we can make a difference and we can show our body of work, because it's not just the way you look, it's hard work.
Exactly. Now, Alek, you're breaking the norm and you are utilizing the power of representation to create a social change. And I mean, with the work that you've done for African development, what is your vision for women in Africa?
We need a lot of empowerment. I think that we need infrastructure, because I believe in long term, like not just give a fisherman, just a phrase, to fish for the day, but give him a rod, they can fish for a lifetime. And I know a lot, not just a thing about that, that gives you, self-confidence, like even to give somebody advice that they could take that and it could benefit them down the road. That's what I did. And that's what makes the world go around. So I think that that's what's very important. When you know that you have a community that you could confide in, when you know that you can be heard, you can be seen, most important. I think that that's so empowering, and it shows. I mean, I would be lying sitting here and saying that I figured it all out myself. No, I didn't. I was very blessed enough to have the opportunity to be around people that embrace that in me, and be able to have people that I could go to and ask questions. It's very important to ask questions, especially with people that are very transparent. So it's very evident if we can be able to have the tools for the younger generation and an outlet, the rest they can do. And what an amazing thing, what a beautiful thing to watch somebody blossom and to watch somebody, persevere. It's like, it's priceless.